Hey y'all, Ginger Cook Bay here. Welcome back to my channel, y'all. Surprise, it's me. Hey. As you can see by the title of this video, we're going to be making vegan Haitian Thanksgiving dinner, y'all. If you want to see how I did this, keep on watching. So first, you're going to start with your prep, which is the Haitian dough that I made from scratch. If you want a video on that, I'll do that separate. You also want to soak your walnuts. For your Haitian patty filling, you want to make your Epis, which is a Haitian green seasoning, your Picklez, and soak some mushrooms for some devil eggs that I did not end up making, okay? So next, you're going to see a list of everything that I'm gonna do, because you need to be very organized, especially if you're gonna be making all these dishes yourself, okay? I only didn't end up making like 2 things out of this list, but I did everything. So then you want to schedule, okay? I did not play no games, all right? I had to work smarter, not harder. So you're gonna start with your preheated oven to 450. We're preparing our candied yams. I used butternut squash instead of yams, okay? So you're gonna close that up. Now we're gonna move on to another dish that we're gonna prepare, which are our biscuits, okay? Usually in these dinners, you have a roll that you have on the side for your food. So that's why I made this biscuit, okay? So I used white Kamut flour. That's the only flour I use throughout this whole process for my dishes. You're gonna pour your cashew milk into the glass, and your key lime, you're gonna pour that into that glass. You're gonna make sure you prepare your liquid ingredients, your wet ingredients, and then your dry ingredients, and then bring them together, marry them together, okay? You're gonna pour that in there. What I didn't show, I did show it, my vegan butter. Then you're gonna mix that all up. So y'all, if I'm missing any ingredients that I don't mention verbally in this video, everything is listed detailed in the description box below, okay? So you're gonna put that on your wax paper, that dough. You're gonna get your ball glass. You're gonna put that on the side. You're gonna use that to shape our biscuits later on, okay? So after you knead this, knead it, you're gonna roll it out, and then you're gonna fold this a couple of times into an envelope, probably like 3 times, no more than that. And then you're gonna wrap it in saran wrap, put it in the refrigerator, and after we do that, we're gonna move on to the next dish, okay? Don't worry about that, it's sticking, it all came together. So now you may be a little confused. We're gonna use our dough that we already made before for our Haitian patty, okay? What I just showed you is for our biscuits. That's in the refrigerator. This is from what we did the night before. I said we because it's us. I'm hoping we're doing this together. But I did this. So you're going to roll this dough out until it's nice and long, because we're preparing to cut it into our pieces, okay, for our Haitian patty. Voila. So now that's nice and stretched, you're gonna cut it in your rectangular shapes, and then after you do that, you're just gonna put this to the side, okay? And we're gonna move on to the next dish. So our next dish, we're gonna be making our mac and cheese. You see my cheese, baby, okay? Your flour and all the great ingredients. You're gonna start with your Kamut noodles, okay? Your vegan cheeses. I try to make this as healthy as possible. I try to incorporate alkaline ingredients. I know it's not all alkaline, y'all, but you gotta work with your sister, okay? Work with your girl. So in a traditional Haitian mac and cheese dish, yes, we use peppers and onions. So you have all your bell peppers and onions. I know there was a meme on Instagram that says if there's onions and stuff in mac and cheese, it don't belong there. Hush, honey, you haven't met a Haitian, okay? So you're gonna put that in your pan, and now there's boiling waters for our noodles. You want to put your grapeseed oil, sea salt, garlic powder, onion powder, and that's about it, okay? Fill it up until you can't fill it up no more. You're probably gonna have a little bit left in the box, and that's okay. This is enough for the batch that we're gonna make, okay? Pour that up in there, girl. These noodles are bomb, y'all, okay? So now that we put those 2 on medium-low on the stove, now we're going to prepare our meat, which is our filling, our walnut meat, our filling for our Haitian patty. I already seasoned it up, and we're going to put it in the blender, blend that up. But first, we got to check on our other ingredients and make sure they're good. You see, noodles is getting good, almost al dente. We have our bell peppers. I added some garlic powder, onion powder, sea salt, pepper to that. Then we're going to have our skillet, already heated, prepared for our walnut meat. Then we got to check on our squash, okay? Make sure she not burnt. All right, she's a little crispy. She could stay in there until we're done with our walnut meat, okay? So now the bell peppers and onions, that mixture that we had earlier, I saved a little bit of that because I want to cook that with our walnut meat, okay? So then now you're going to see me reach for my Epis. It's a green seasoning that we use in my culture. A lot of cultures have their green seasonings, especially in the Caribbean. This is just going to give us, I can't even speak, y'all. This is just going to give us, I'm sorry. It's going to give us our distinct Haitian, taste for our meat. This seasoning is used for like a lot of dishes and a lot of Haitian dishes. Yeah, that's about it. So now you're going to get your walnut meat that we already blended. We're going to pour that into the skillet. Y'all, at this point, I realized the skillet was not on, like the stove wasn't on, like this burner wasn't on. Because I'm like, when I added my Epis, I'm like, why is it not sizzling? Like, this is cold hitting hot grease. But then I soon later found out, and I changed the burner. Actually, the burner before it was on. So thank God I didn't touch it because I would have definitely burned myself. Okay. So then after you have all that, we're going to move on and take out our butternut squash. We're going to place that on top of the stove and let that cool, okay? So now we have all of our ingredients on the stove. Right now, what you see me doing is, I'm conjuring up my cheese sauce. I'm putting my vegan Colby Jack cheese into our sauce. What I didn't show is that I added my dry ingredients, my cashew milk. Now I'm grating my vegan mozzarella. Okay, you see the other ingredients on the stove. Our noodles is al dente, it's ready. Our walnut meat is nice and brown. It looks like meat. And our butternut squash is still cooling because that's piping hot, okay? So you're going to add a little bit more cashew milk. I thought you could see the box, but you can't. Okay, this is what happens when you're, filming and cooking. You're doing a lot at once, okay? So then you're going to flip your noodles. I'm about to take that out and rinse it to put in my cheese sauce. I'm just flipping it just to make sure that it's good. I want y'all to get a closer look at my cheese sauce. It's about to get thicker and creamier as we go on, but it's coming together, y'all. It's coming together. Look at them noodles. Look how nice and perfect that looks. And look at our walnut meat. It looks bomb. You want it to be nice and brown. You want everything in the stove to be on low, okay? Low heat, slow and great. So now I'm adding, vegan mayo to my cheese sauce. If you're not Haitian, you will not understand this, okay? But this is traditionally added to the cheese sauce. It gives it a little bit of nice flavor, okay? I'm just trying to follow the traditional way of doing things, but like vegan, okay? So as you can see, our sauce is getting thicker. Now that we have our noodles, it's ready. I poured it in there. I used a little bit of the pasta water in this mixture. You're gonna mix it all up. You see how that cheese just came together, y'all? It's nice and creamy. You can't even tell it's vegan, all right? It came together, y'all. So then you're gonna use the vegan butter to butter up your pan. Pour your mac and cheese up in there. Y'all, this came out so good. So good. Looking back at this, I wish I had more of this, but I'm done with my leftovers. So, okay. So you're going to grate your vegan mozzarella into your pan, okay? Grate it. And then what did I do next? Oh, yes, I used the Colby Jack cheese on top. This part is not necessary because this cheese does not melt too well. Okay, so you can just get away with the mozzarella cheese. You just want to use like a brush and brush like some seasoned oil on top of the noodles so that way you can get that nice golden crispy macaroni gratin look, okay? But the mozzarella would be just fine, honestly, okay? But you do need it in the mixture from before, okay? But for the topping, mozzarella is just fine. So now we put that to the side. We're going to move on to our candied yams. So I already cut this up, put it in squash. Obviously, the sizes are too big, so I ended up slicing them in half so it can give like a candied yam look. So now our drizzle that we're going to be using, it's going to include cane sugar, vanilla, cinnamon, agave, just date syrup, and some oil. I got this recipe from Plant Eat on Instagram. chef's kiss. Came out perfect. So once you mix that up in a bowl, it should look like this nice brown caramel drizzle. It should look like, see, it looks like yams, y'all. Candied yams. This came out fire. So now when you put that aside, we're going to start with our pineapple upside down cake. I already caramelized the agave, date syrup, cane sugar, vegan butter. I added a little bit of oil so it could be a little bit of liquefied, so it could be easier to pour into our cake pan, okay? So you got your cake pan. You want to make sure you butter up the sides with your vegan butter, so that way when the cake rises, it doesn't stick to the sides, okay? So obviously we're pouring this mixture into our baking sheet. I almost lost my train of thought. So you're going to already have your sliced pineapples. You're going to put it at the bottom of the pan. Okay, voila. Then you're going to put your little cherries in the middle. This is such an easy recipe, y'all. Now we're going to move on to the cake batter. So I already put in the Kamut flour, my vegan butter, cane sugar, sea salt, vanilla extract, walnut milk instead of cashew milk, applesauce. The only reason why I bought this applesauce is because when I was watching a lot of vegan pineapple videos, a lot of people use this, and in my brain it translated as like a rising agent for this. I don't know how true that is, but you know, that's what I did, y'all. Okay, so then you're gonna whisk this all up. Okay, this is a very tiring process. I ended up putting this in the blender because I didn't like that it was a little chunky, and that did the trick. So you're gonna pour that up all in your cake pan. You see how it's coming together, y'all? This looks so pretty. I just wish I kept it in the oven longer, okay? Because it did not come out fluffy the way I wanted it. But anyways, gonna move on to the next thing. So now our Haitian pate. Remember the walnut filling that we did earlier? So this is our walnut meat for our Haitian patties. You're going to place it on your dough. Our dough, because we're doing this together, right? So you're going to place this on your dough and on our dough. Okay, I wanted to be greedy and make this each slice like an individual one, but I'm like, no, I got to, ginger girl, we got to make this as close to the Haitian pate as possible. So I ended up using the other side and placing it on top of this side. So what you're seeing me doing is I'm taking some oil and I'm putting it on the side. So when I put the other side of the dough on top to seal it, the patty, it sticks, because as it's baked, you don't want the meat to spill out on the sides. Like, presentation is everything, okay? It's the rectangular shape for me, okay? The fact that this looks like pate is so crazy to me. Like, this came out so good, y'all. So amazing. I'm so proud. This came out so good. This is such a tedious process, though. It's no joke. So after you're done with that, you're going to put that to the side. So remember the biscuits that we made, the dough of the biscuit that we made earlier? We're just shaping it with our glass. This also came out bomb. One thing I should have added was sparkling water, just to make it more like fluffy and big. It didn't rise as much as I wanted to. So now what we're going to do next is that we're going to put oil with sea salt, sea salt, garlic powder, onion powder. We're going to glaze this biscuit with it just to give it like a nice golden color, It's got to look nice and pretty. And then now we're going to plate our pate to prepare for the oven. Okay, it looks firm because I let it sit out while I was doing the biscuit. And I noticed it was like getting a little oily. So I'm like, this ain't gonna fit a mess up on me. So I put it in the fridge for about like 5 to 7 minutes, just so it can firm up a little bit. And yeah, so now the same oil that I used to glaze the biscuits, I'm using for the patties. So that way it can have like a nice golden color. Okay, when we take it out, we want this is the Haitian pate, okay? It has to look like the original. So now all the ingredients that we did before, all the dishes that we did before, we're putting in the oven. You have our biscuits to the left, our Haitian patties in the middle, pineapple cake on the right, mac and cheese on the bottom left, and yams, all right? Make sure your oven's at 400, and then we're going to close that bad boy up. Look at my dirty stove. It's really throwing down. So now we're going to move on to our other dishes, okay? So you're going to boil your baby burro banana. We're going to ignore that because that was supposed to be for our potato salad that I did not end up making because it was trash. You want to have your soaked, that we did the night before, soaked oyster mushrooms for our fried little chicken tenders that we're going to be making, imitation chicken tenders. I have to show you the process so you'll know what's going on still. You know, you got to work with me, y'all. You need a plan, okay? Working what? Smarter, not harder. So now we're gonna be making our bun peze, aka fried plantain. I thought this was the green banana, but this was actually sweet plantain, which I hate. But actually the way I made this, I actually liked it. So that was a nice, pleasant surprise. You want to cut it in this unique way because if you worked with plantains before, you know you can't easily peel it off. So you have to cut it in this special way in order to get the skin off of the plantain. So once you get that off, you're gonna see me sniff it like a weirdo because I like to sniff my food. Because at this point I realized, like, oh, this is not green banana, this is the sweet one. So after you cut it up in slices, you know, I just wanted to show you how I cut it up, or the result of me cutting it up. And so now you're gonna put it on your board. You're gonna take your key lime. I'm obsessed. This is the traditional way to make fried plantain. You want to squeeze the clean lime on top of it. Gives a little flavor. Add your sea salt. I should have probably did this after I pressed this together. You're going to use the skin of the plantain and squeeze it together just to, you know, spread it. This is the traditional way to do it. So this is how I'm doing it. If you have something to press it together, that's a great investment. That's what I'll be buying next. So now you want to put this in your oil. I only use grapeseed oil for this throughout this whole entire video, you guys. It's just a healthy alternative to frying and making your food. So you're going to wait until that's golden brown. We're going to ignore the burro banana because we did not end up using that. So look at my plantains, y'all. It's coming together so nice. And this had my house smelling like how I grew up when my grandmother used to make this in the kitchen, y'all. This came out so good. So I'm gonna put this on a plate with a napkin so it can soak up that grease, okay, that oil, I should say. Soak it up. And then you're going to sprinkle a little bit of salt on top of it and put that to the side. So now we're going to check on all of our dishes. It's been about like 35 minutes at this point. So our biscuits, you can tell they're ready. I'm just going to put that back in for like about 5 minutes just so it can get a little bit more color. As you can see, if you're peeping the Haitian patties, it's looking almost about right, y'all. You see that? Boom. Look at my pate. I'm so proud, y'all. And then on the right hand side is the pineapple cake that is nowhere near done. And then the bottom, checking on the mac and cheese. The yams is already done, so that's ready to come out. Yes, ma'am. That's ready to come out. And now we got our mac and cheese. We're going to leave that in there until the top is nice and golden brown, okay? We want the macaroni gratin. So now we're going to move on and fry our oyster mushrooms. You have our wet batter and our dry batter. And then soon you're going to see me put it in the oil. Make sure you season everything up. I already seasoned all of this up. Yeah, everything will be down in the description box below. And after you fry, you're just gonna flip it over. You want to do this for about like 10 to 12 minutes until it's like a little golden brown, has a nice little color. Don't burn them. Yeah, this came out really good, y'all. Everything came out so amazing, y'all. I'm so proud. So after you flip those bad boys up, flip it up, flip it over. Yeah, you gotta wait till it's golden brown though. Like I had to go in there every couple of minutes and make sure that my babies didn't burn. So now you have your portobello mushroom, aka our turkey. What I did is I put vegan butter, rosemary, sea salt, garlic, onion powder, black pepper in there. Okay. And what I didn't show you guys is that after this process, I did plate everything on the table. Y'all, before I played everything on the table, what I didn't show in this video is I put a lid over this face down and up with the portobello mushroom, so that way you can really like all those flavors with the vegan butter and rosemary could really soak in into the mushroom and make it nice and tender. Okay, and then after this, I already plated everything. Well, I plated my appetizers, not all the dishes. I plated my appetizers because by this time, all the appetizers were done. So the bon and peze, you see, my fried oyster mushrooms were done, my biscuits were done, my plantains were done, the patties came out immaculate. Remember the Picklez that we made the day before? I played that in the middle. Boom, y'all, I posted this right away because I'm like, this is lit. This is when I really got excited because I'm like, it's coming together. So now we're going to get our ziri jean, which is aka black rice in our culture. Our collard greens. This is the last two dishes that I end up cooking, y'all. I did not end up making nothing else. I made a sauce out of the rest of what was left in the portobello mushroom that I grilled. That's the pot that we're going to do our wild rice in, and the other pot is for our greens. And because I don't have jean, which is like a traditional mushroom that we use to make the rice black, I use wild rice because at least it gives me the look of ziri jean, okay? So what I didn't show you is that I pan-seared onions, garlic powder, onion powder, salt, black pepper. I put water into it, my wild rice, and then I seasoned the water again with the dry seasonings that I just mentioned. I added thyme, habanero pepper, and some scallions, and that's it. You're gonna cover this up. I actually cooked this for about an hour and 15 minutes. If you ever cooked wild rice, it takes at least 40 to 50 minutes for it to cook, okay? So I'm showing you the brand that I use, wonderful brand. This rice came out bomb. Chef's kiss, bomb. So now we're gonna move on to our collard greens. I washed this the day before and the day of 3 times because you gotta wash them greens real good, okay? And I added okra, my sliced mushroom. What you're about to see in the next clip is that I pan-seared onions, scallions. I put my dry seasonings there. I use Cajun seasonings, chili powder, chipotle powder. I season that bad boy up. I wanted my greens to be great. Okay, so now what I didn't show is that the finished results of like the rice and the greens, but I plated everything on my table. This came out immaculate. Okay, I was just really tired at this point. I wanted everything to be over. My lower back was hurting. Okay. Assistant was tired, so voila, everything came together so great. You see my pineapple cake, my mac and cheese gratin, my black rice, my portobello mushroom, my yams, my appetizer plate, my greens. Yeah, I was so proud. Okay, yeah, I don't have any family here down in the A. I'm originally from New York, and cooking this made me feel like home because Thanksgiving dinners were so big in my family when I was younger, and the fact that that hasn't happened in a while and I'm away from family, I have no one here, cooking this made me feel like my ancestors were in the room with me. It made me feel like at home. I'm so proud of everything that I made on this table. Okay, this is my first time making Thanksgiving dinner ever, first time making all these traditional foods ever, and for it to come out banging, like, man, thank God, thank my ancestors. I showed this to my mom and my siblings, and they was just like, yo, we need that. This doesn't even look vegan. It's so good. And my parents are actually visiting me next week, and my mom wants me to cook all of this again for her. So I'm like, sure, lady, whatever. But yeah, this came out so good, y'all. What you're gonna see is that I'm making my plate. Y'all gonna see this process, okay? This came out so good, y'all. Everything came out so delicious. You see that rice? Bam! This came out bomb, y'all. I'm so proud. You see that mac and cheese? Boom! Goddamn mac and cheese vegan. Any vegan Haitian husbands looking for a wife? No, I'm kidding. But this came out so good, y'all. Tell me what you think about these recipes. How did I do? How does it look? Are you convinced? Of course, I had to show you the inside of my pate because look at my Haitian patty, y'all. Bomb. Okay. The only failed dish that I did that came out of this was the pineapple cake. I should have left it in the oven for longer. It did not come out fluffy, but it looked pretty though. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.